pleasure tonight to introduce our guest. Our guest is Dick Morris. Dick was born on November the 28th in 1948. Dick attended Stuyvesant.
47.
57.
I appreciate it. 47.
Dick attended Stuyvesant High School in New York City, where he was active on the debate team. He managed Jerry Nadler's campaign for class president. As you all know, Jerry Nadler now is serving in for New York in the House of Representatives in Washington. Dick was also involved in the first campaign of Richard Guthrie of the New York State Assembly back in 1970. Dick graduated from Stuyvesant High School in 1964. Then he went on to Columbia University and earned a bachelor's degree and graduated in 1967. Today, Dick Morris is an American political author and commentator who previously worked as a pollster, political campaign consultant, and a general political consultant and manager. A longtime friend and advisor to former President Clinton during his time as governor of Arkansas. Dick became a political advisor to the White House after President Clinton was elected president in 1992. Dick encouraged former President Clinton to pursue a third-way policies of triangulation. He'll be talking about that tonight more. And that combined traditional Republican as well as Democratic proposals and issues to achieve maximum political gain and popularity. Dick worked as a Republican strategist before joining the Clinton administration, where he helped Clinton to recover after the 1994 midterm elections by convincing the president to adopt a more Republican agenda. The president consulted Dick in secret beginning back in 1994. Clinton's communications director at the time, George Stephanopoulos, said that over the course of the first 9 months of 1995, no other person on the planet had more power over the president than Dick Morris. Dick now writes a weekly column for the New York Post, which he's carrying that on a nationwide basis, contributes columns and blogs to both in-print and online versions of The Hill, and appears on a regular basis on Fox TV News. You all know that. We see him all the time. As the top man, if you want a go-to man on how to win elections, Assemblyman Ball brought him here tonight. He demanded for him to lay out a battle plan on how we can take back the New York State Senate. There's only one man that knows how to do that. Right here is Dick Morris. Give it up for him.
The reason Greg's...
Can you stand there, please?
Okay.
Thanks. There's somebody who has more power over him.
You know, actually, I'm going to stand here so I can see everybody. Okay?
There you go.
Good. You know, the reason that Greg's prediction of the Dark Ages, if we lose the Senate, is accurate, is that you really have to win only one election every 10 years. And that's in a year that ends in a 0. Because that's the year that the State Senate and the State Assembly and the governor redraw the lines for New York State. And they draw the lines in such a way as to favor the party in power. And therefore, if we win this election and control the Senate, and hopefully also the Assembly, we'll be able to make sure that New York State does not become a one-party state in its delegation. There are Republicans in Massachusetts. Scott Brown was just elected. But there's not a single Republican congressman in the whole state because the Democrats draw the lines, gerrymander them in such a way that only Democrats can get elected. And the height of cynicism was found in California. There are about 70 or 80 seats that are in play this year out of 435 in the House. But there is one out of 54 in the whole state of California that's up. And that's because the Congress, the legislators in the Senate and Assembly in California made a bipartisan deal where they made every seat either a safe Democratic seat or a safe Republican seat. And they basically had both parties agree to disenfranchise the voters of the state. And as a result, you have really no democracy there. And it is absolutely crucial that the Republican Party at least control the state Senate. Now, in New York State in this year, we are the epicenter, the national epicenter of the effort to take back the House of Representatives. We need a total of 38 seats to win the House and get rid of Nancy Pelosi.
You hear?
Something
Take that gavel away from her.
And to do that, we have to win 39 seats. There are 7 seats out of the 39 here in New York that I think we can pick up in this election. 7 out of the 39 we need in the country. 20% of the seats are right here in New York State. I think we can beat McMahon, the congressman from Staten Island and Bay Ridge. He only won because of a big scandal in the Republican Party. I think we can beat Tim Bishop on the very end of Suffolk County. That district is really basically a Republican district. I think in this district we can beat John Hall. What's his song?
You're the one.
You're the one. Well, he's not. And the ability to sing a song should not be a qualification to be elected to Congress. He has no other visible qualifications. He supports the Democratic Party 95+% of the time. I have the actual amount in this book where we write about him. He really is the epitome of Gilbert and Sullivan's line. I always voted at my party's call, and I never thought of thinking for myself at all. But Hall, let me see if I'll get right here for you. It's worth noting. Hall voted with the Democratic leadership 98% of the time. 98. And he voted in favor of health care. He voted in favor of the stimulus, the financial regulation bill. But I mean, just think about that. Out of every, what would it be, every 40 votes, he votes independently once. So when you vote for Hall, you're basically voting for a member of the Electoral College who goes to Washington and votes for the guy for president, votes for the slate. You're voting for a rubber stamp, and we need to get rid of him. And we also need to get rid of Mike Arcuri, who's the congressman for Albany, and Scott Murphy, who's the congressman for Poughkeepsie, and Ron Owens, who's the Ron Owens, I think, Steve Owens, the congressman for Plattsburgh, and Steve Maffei, the congressman for Syracuse. We need to take that Massa seat, no matter what's under it. And there are really 7 or 8 seats that we can win right here in New York. But if we, and I think we're going to win them, but if we lose the state senate, we're going to lose them all in 2012. We'll lose every one of them, because they'll draw districts that are totally convoluted and so on, but they'll make sure that they elect Democrats reliably. Why